Hello Kindred Spirits, and welcome to my spiritual oasis, here weary souls come to find inner wisdom and peace. So today we're doing another Soulful 7 reading here, and I'm going to be using my yoga deck for all intents and purposes for our guiding energy for conversations today. Nothing is prepared for this reading, everything will be intuitive. There will be links, timestamps in the description for the groups that are available for this Soulful 7. So these messages are meant to be, you know, soul-filling messages to carry you through the next 5 to 7 days. The idea of this is to start your week off, or from the moment you get this video, start your following week off. Putting yourself, your spiritual wellness first, and filling your cup up so that you are able to then pour into others. So if you're interested in this reading, please do stick around. I'm just going to move right into the groups. And so hello group number 1, and welcome to your Soulful 7 reading. I'm just going to give these cards a shuffle here. Group 1's guiding energy for today's conversation. This whole deck is upside down. Group 1's guiding energy today. Group 1's guiding energy. This card is calling to me. All right, so we have Lion. I love the graphics for this deck. We'll certainly be doing a full review on it, but until then, we have the Lion here. The keyword for our Lion is power. So trying out this yoga move might be one of the things you kind of just engage in for the week. Taking that into consideration. Okay. So the messages that I am receiving right off the bat here with Lion being your guiding energy is this idea of kind of taking control over your own life, taking your power back if you've lost it somewhere along the way. This idea of just being confident in who you are, and understanding that you are the king or queen of your life and of your world, and really just kind of like owning that. And that's not to be arrogant, it is just to be like confident. You know, there is a difference between confidence and arrogance. Arrogance is actually bred in false confidence, whereas, you know, confidence is indeed just like an inner strength, an inner peace, an inner power, and like owning your power. Yeah, so with our 8 of Swords here, just getting that some of you are kind of wrapped up in your mind, wrapped up in your thoughts, negative thoughts, kind of keeping yourself trapped, keeping yourself contained, instead of allowing yourself to be free and living your life from a place of power and authority over what you do and how you engage with the world around you. So freeing your mind, freeing yourself from the bounds. So the 8 of Swords talks about, you know, how our thoughts are keeping us tied up, and we're keeping ourselves blind, and we're keeping ourselves tied up. And at any point in time, we can choose to free ourselves of that bondage. So you actually have 2 king cards. So such a very powerful and a divine masculine sort of energy is wrapping up this reading. It's just kind of wrapping this energy, or wrapping this reading up in its energy. So you have the King of Pentacles, as well as the King of Swords. So both divine masculine energies that, to me, as I see this with a Lion, is just really about claiming who you are and being grounded in that energy. And this idea of like power and authority over your own life and existence. From your thoughts, being fair, being just to yourself and those around you, knowing and understanding that you know the truth of things. You know it's real, you know it's true, and just leaning into your knowledge and understanding and being confident in what you know is fact. And then in our King of Pentacles, this idea of kind of like taking power and control over your worldly realm. So your health, I'm getting for some of you, your physical health, your mental health, as well as your world of pentacles. So our King of Pentacles is all about prosperity in the worldly realms in particular, and being the king over your physical domain. So over your house, over your home, providing for yourself, grounding, providing grounded energy, and just understanding that getting to our King of Pentacles energy, it takes time, and it was a slow process that happened over time. That our King of Pentacles went through all of those steps leading up to being the king, and just knowing that claiming your power, reclaiming your power isn't going to happen overnight. I feel like that's a really strong message here as well. But it's about kind of building up to that pentacle point of rulership. Kind of like a baby. When a baby is born, it's not thrown out into the wild and expected to fend for itself. It spends a period of time under the watchful eye of a guardian, so whether that's the parents or other, looking out for the child and making sure that the child has the tools needed to be able to guide its own life. And in a similar way, not saying that you're an actual literal baby, but some of us spiritually are earlier in our journey than others. And just understanding that it takes time to get to a place of being confident and in control and command over the world around you. I thought this card was going to come up, and it did. So cattail, the keyword here is build, and that's really what we're talking about with our King of Pentacles energy. This idea of slow and steady wins the race. This idea of building up to, the place of wealth and prosperity physically, but also mentally as well, and just being gracious to yourself and understanding that it's all a process and that building takes time. And before you can actually physically build a building, you have to dig up the dirt and then lay a foundation, and then the structure comes, and then there's all of these different parts and pieces that come along the way, and there's an order to it. And if you try to skip over things or you try to rush through things, the outcome isn't what you want it to be. So the idea here is to, build. Slow and steady wins the race. Becoming the king doesn't happen overnight. And also being gracious to yourself as well. What I also feel like in the King of Swords and the Lion, just the way their mouths are open, is this idea of communication, vocalizing what you want, and advocating for yourself as well. That's a part of reaching that king status, is being able to confidently advocate for yourself, whether that be in a job position, or if you own your own business, being able to advocate on behalf of your business and the work that you've done, whether that be in communication with others and the way that you talk to other people and communicate with people, whether it be business or work or just in personal life in general, your loved ones and things like that. Just being able to communicate your needs and your wants in an effective way. That's also a power as well, a place of power, being able to advocate for yourself. And then we have Douglas fir. The keyword here is resolution. In this moment, I am free. is the truth statement here. And the trigger statement is the past haunts me. So this idea of releasing the past, that could be why some of you are kind of in this mental tie-up here in the 8 of Swords, that freeing yourself is kind of the key message here, that the resolution resides inside of you, and you're not going to find it in the outside world. So if you're looking for the resolution somewhere else, it's going to take you a minute to kind of come full circle and realize that the resolution resides inside of you, and that you are free the moment you decide you are free, the moment you free yourself and allow yourself to make mistakes, make up for the mistakes, right? Come back around, come full circle. When you allow yourself to live, when you allow yourself to laugh, when you allow yourself to be at peace even in turmoil, when you allow yourself to be joyous even when things aren't going quite the way you want them to be. So the resolution resides in yourself, and you free yourself. You are the one that's in power. You have that power. You have that control, how you perceive things. So let yourself be the one to heal the wounds passed down from your ancestors. So some root work could be necessary in this conversation for you guys. And I might even pull some. Let's see if I can get these cards up. I usually have them ready because, ancestors be popping up trying to say stuff. So I usually have my tarot ready for them, but I'm slacking today. I'm sorry, ancestors. Okay. So the rest of the card says, the release and growth begins with you. Yep, absolutely. And I feel like you being here right now, having this conversation with me, with yourself, with your guides, I feel like that's a really important step in the right direction. So let's see, let's shuffle for our ancestors, see what messages your ancestors have for you today. Obviously was not planning to do this, but that's okay. When messages come, we just lean into them. What messages for group number 1, ancestors? The big queen, which is our empress energy. Okay, so we've got these 3 cards that didn't want to go back in the deck. Let's see, Daughter of Knives, Son of Coins. This is gonna get a little squishy. Here, let's see, we can kind of relocate some of these items. And then we have Strength, which I feel like is right on par, right on point with the Lion. And I had a feeling that this card was going to come out, actually. So our Strength card is all about that inner strength, right? That's really what we're talking about, cultivating that inner strength. It's hard to see our Son of Coins, so I'm going to try to move him. Okay. So I'm getting a message for some of you from your ancestors. The big queen, I'm feeling like, is a matriarch in your family. It's really beautiful, divine feminine energy that talks about prosperity, that talks about, I feel like it's giving you hope. I feel like that's the message, that the message of hope, the message of, planning for the future and keep pushing towards your goals and the things that you truly desire, and not settling because you're afraid to take the leap. With the 3 of Coins, I'm getting the message that the leap might be in the realm of Pentacles, might be, you might have a business idea, or encouraged to either go back to school for specific training or something like that might be on your heart and your mind. And maybe you haven't taken that step because of a variety of different reasons. It could be fear, it could be fear of failure, it could be you don't feel like you have the money or the time or the resources to be able to do it. And I feel like in general the message here is to go for it. So our Daughter of Knives is like the Knight of Swords energy. And to me, that's like, go for it. This is also to me talking about advocacy, advocating for yourself, speaking out, communicating your thoughts and your ideas. And I'm just getting the message that you're going to have a lot of energy and divine energy as well, being able to communicate your ideas. I'm getting the message here in strength that communicating your ideas in a way that isn't aggressive, but assertive. So you're being assertive with your messaging, and you're being forthright and clear, and you're standing strong in your knowledge and your understanding, but you're not being aggressive with it. Like, you're not being overpowering, even though you are powerful and you're coming from a position of power, you're not like overexerting your authority or being aggressive with it. But it's about like being political a little bit, kind of navigating the world in like a charismatic and charming way, rather than like bullying people and like muscling people around to try to get what you want, if that makes any sense there. Yeah, so I feel like those are the messages from your ancestors, is this idea of prosperity lies in where your heart is. So pursue your heart fearlessly, right? That strength energy, that lion, that power energy. Pursue your heart fearlessly. What is that whispering in your heart? What thing triggered with you when we started talking about, that job or that, opportunity, whatever it is, that is about you kind of branching out and being assertive when it comes to your dreams and your desires and things that you want in your world. And I'm specifically looking at advocacy, so voicing your opinions about what you want and desire, and also in the world of pentacles, so health, jobs, career, things like that. Okay. So our ancestors hijacked the conversation for a minute. That is totally acceptable. I really love this big queen energy as well. That is the empress energy, and I feel like from like a historical perspective, especially from like Afro-Caribbean, African American cultures, that the matriarch of the family is, patriarchs are important too, but I feel like the matriarch holds a special place in my culture and Afro-Caribbean, African American cultures in general. So I'm also feeling like for some of you, the message here is also to like, if you haven't, this might be totally random and specific, but if you haven't in a while communicated with the matriarchs in your family, grandmother, if you are lucky enough to have great grandmothers around still, the message is to communicate with them, sit down with them, and listen to their stories. Is kind of the random message that came to mind. And it's so amazing that we got Carnelian here. Feed your creativity. So I'm getting the message here for some of you, that pentacle idea that popped into your mind that you've been thinking about and kind of have been hesitant to pursue has something to do with your creativity. And I feel like this is the perfect time right now to own that power. Like, creativity is powerful. It is power. It is energy. So tap into that and know and be confident that whatever your creative endeavor is, whatever your creative passion is, that it will prosper. It will prosper with that Empress energy. It will bring you security, prosperity, all of these different beautiful energies. The King of Pentacles energy is about prosperity too, worldly prosperity. So I'm feeling like your creative endeavors, your creative passions, like claiming that, owning that as a part of your power, advocate for that, push that forward, and it will indeed bring you prosperity and joy and happiness too, and fulfillment. So those are our general messages. We're going to go ahead and pull some soul truth cards. Again, the idea of that is for you to be able to select one of the questions to take with you on your week moving forward, to kind of contemplate, to journal, meditate on one of these questions. Okay, what am I waiting for? What am I waiting for? Someone else to do it for me? So it's this first one. That one just rolled right on out. I feel like this is definitely related to that creativity, that Son of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles energy. What are you waiting for? Okay. I usually read the backs, don't I? Hold on, let me get the back of this one. You can pause it if you want to read it. No more thinking, only doing. Be brave. You will discover what you are really made of. Wild soul, strong heart, can't lose. I love that one. That to me is right on par with our lion power. Our strength, you know, our Empress energy. Like I said, there's a lot of really strong energies, and a lot of them were masculine to start with. When we tapped into our ancestral energy, we got some really strong feminine energy as well. Divine feminine energy. So we have, am I focused on what I am losing or gaining? I feel like that's very applicable to our conversation today as well. Whatever you focus on is what you will manifest in your life. What passion am I ready to pursue? Oh my gosh, these are all, I feel like, directly connected to what we were talking about from your ancestors. They could still be talking actually through these cards. So they're really like leaning on you right now. You're being squeezed. Do you feel it? I feel it. I feel it for you. You're being squeezed. Yeah, I feel like it's just an encouragement to like go after what you want. As far as we know, well, I would say, depending on the belief, in this consciousness, we only have this consciousness to dwell in. So live it till it's full. You're meant to live this life, so live this life. You know, being afraid to live is not living at all. It's being afraid. Don't be afraid. Take power, take control over your life and what you have, what you are able to take control of, which is actually quite a bit in life. Making the decision to, despite fear. So again, we're not waiting for the fear to go away. The fear will only go away once we jump into it, once we pursue, once we stop waiting and take action, once we focus in on what we're gaining and not what we're losing, and we just go out and we just do it. We just lean into it. Obviously, you have a mind, so you're leaning into things from a point of intelligence. You're making wise decisions, but you're also not being afraid to like make mistakes here and there, and then learn from those mistakes. Like doing something you've never done before, you're gonna make mistakes. There's gonna be things that you're not familiar with that you're gonna have to get help on, that you're gonna have to try out. So don't be afraid to get out there and just do it. I feel like that was a lot of the questions to take with you, or the thoughts and ideas to take with you into the week, is this idea of how can I get started? You know, getting started is one of the most challenging things to do. Just making that decision and commitment to go out there and do it. So these are the messages that I have channeled for you today. Group number 1, you have a very thick, dense message this week going into the next 5 to 7 days. So I certainly hope that the information that was discussed today was helpful for you in leaning into a more fulfilling week for you, and getting you started, getting you going, getting you to, just lean into life, man. Or lady, man and lady. Lean into life, lean into prosperity, and just go and get it is the message, really. Just go and get it, lean into it. Yes, so thank you for your time and energy today, beautiful soul. and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye. Hello, group number 2. Welcome to your reading. So I'm going to go ahead and shuffle your primary energy. Let's see if I can do it this way. These cards are a little big. What is the guiding energy for group number 2 today? Group number 2, primary guiding energy. Group number 2's guiding energy for this week. Group number 2, group number 2. Tree. Grounding. All right, group number 2, I see you. So maybe trying out this yoga pose this week. The tree pose. Grounding. Yeah, I'm getting 4 energy. I'm getting pentacle energy. Some of you might be earth signs, sun, moon, rising, Venus, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. Just getting a lot of like worldly focus. So like focusing on tactile things of the world, things that you can touch, taste, see, feel, those pentacle things, earth things. Could be career, could be job, this idea of stability, and we have King of Wands. Also health. I feel like health, physical health and mental health, but specifically physical health, I guess, for this particular conversation. I feel like mental health is included in this too, but physical health for some of you. So getting that checkup that you've been putting off. We got cards flying around, being wild. So you have the 6 of Wands as well as the Star. So with the King of Wands, I feel like that our King of Wands is that fiery energy, but a really mature version of it. So our King of Wands is confident. Our King of Wands is passionate. This could represent you, or this could represent someone in your life or coming into your life in a fire sign, sun, moon, rising, Venus, or having strong fire sign placements in their chart. So our Sagittarius, Leo, and Aries. But I'm also just feeling this idea of grounding your creative passions, grounding your creative energy is kind of what I'm vibing off of this. And it could be in the form of a job or career, so job or career advancement. It could also be in the form of like that side hustle that you've kind of been doing, or maybe that hobby that you've been doing, turning that into a way to provide stability for yourself, turning that into your full-time gig sort of deal. In the Star, I'm getting the energy of this idea of harmony, of hope, of the light in the darkness. Also this idea of like having one foot in the worldly realms and one foot in the spiritual realms. So for some of you, you could be too focused on career, you could be too focused on worldly prosperity and not focused enough on grounding yourself spiritually, grounding yourself mentally. There could be some like mentally overwhelmed, or just feeling exhausted was kind of the message that I'm getting. Maybe you're not naturally a fire sign, or maybe fire sign energy isn't your natural vibe or your natural place of balance. So you could be feeling exhausted, you could be feeling tired, especially if you have primary like feminine energies in your chart. So water or earth energy as the primary energies in your chart, and you're tapping into a lot of fire energy. It could be kind of exhausting you, and you need to kind of duck off and replenish your energy is kind of maybe a message that I'm getting, especially with Juniper coming out, keyword here being invigorate. So this idea of invigorating yourself and really just kind of understanding that energy, you have to replenish your energy and you have to rest. And that's why I feel like this grounding, right? So our fire energy is not grounded. It's an action energy. It's out there doing. And fire, more so than any of the, even from air, fire is about do, go, push, drive. You know, it's that very intense, forward moving, high octane sort of energy. So I'm feeling this idea that we need to ground, we need to pull back a little bit. And that actually the act of pulling back, the act of resting, the act of recuperating, invigorating is actually going to give you more energy to push forward. It sounds counterproductive, but it is actually not. Filling up your gas tank is what you need to do in order to continue to go the extra miles. And I feel like our King of Wands and our Six of Wands is kind of like where we're striving to. And I feel like we're in a point now where we see the end, we see where we want to go. We know that we're going to get there, but we have to take a moment right now to replenish our stores and to just get our energy back, especially for those of you who have strong divine feminine energies in your birth chart. So a lot of earth and a lot of water. Yep. You heard it. All these cards flailing wildly. Okay, so we have tension. Release is the key word, which I feel like is right on point. I nurture myself is the true statement here, and I'm in this essential oil card, which I think is very fitting to our conversation, this idea of invigoration, this idea of release. This is a sacral chakra, so one of those core, it's like in our core, in our guts, sort of vibes here and energy. So this idea of nurturing yourself, it's time to settle, create a sacred space where you can be. In that place of rest, healing will unfold. So literally on point with exactly what we've been talking about already today. I love when that happens. It just confirms to me that we're on the right track. So this idea of resting, invigorating yourself, being the one to take that power back. And so the trigger statement on this card is I have nothing left. So this idea of feeling exhausted, this idea of feeling like you're never going to reach your goals. And the message I'm getting here is you need to ground yourself, understand where your strength lies. Again, if you're a water or earth sign, understand that your strength does not lie in pushing and driving. Your strength lies in that calm, that grounded energy. So I'm also getting for some of you you might need to pivot your approach to whatever you're trying to accomplish and try to figure out if there's a way for you to work from your place of power, from your place of groundedness. Not to say, because we all have aspects of all four elements in our chart, but just like being honest with yourself and being like, you know what, I can drive and I can push for about 2 months or 3 months before I'm like, yeah, no. So like be honest with yourself about that. And especially if you're pursuing something that's going to take a while, try to reevaluate the situation and figure out if there's a way for you to approach it from your place of strength as well. And I would say look at your rising and moon signs for guidance. Like sometimes, especially if our sun sign, say, is in a fire sign, we feel like, yeah, drive, push, all that stuff. But looking at some of your other placements might also help you figure out where your actual strength lies too. So that message just came. So I feel like somebody needed to hear that though. Just because you're an Aries sun doesn't mean you need to lead everything. You know, so look at your whole birth chart too, and see if there's another way to approach whatever you're trying to accomplish. Ooh, and then we had Amazonite. Amazonite. Loosen your grip. I probably said that word. I'm sorry. Amazonite. We'll say it smoother. So loosen your grip. I feel like it's very much so tied into and connected to the conversation that we have today. That we're having today about kind of resting, maybe pivoting, taking a step back, looking at things from a different point of view, figuring out maybe it's not working, basically, the way you're doing it, and just trying to find another way to approach that. And in order to do that, you're gonna have to loosen your grip. You're gonna have to release and be like, okay, it's not working. I'm not giving up. I'm just reevaluating, figuring out how I can approach this from a space and a place of power and grounded energy. And this could be a number of things. I'm getting, for some of you, it might be romance, it might be conversations with a coworker or a loved one, or a partner. For some others of you, it might be dealing with the World of Pentacles. So it could be a job, it could be your business or something. But this idea of kind of reevaluating how you're handling the situation and reapproaching it from your specific place of strength and groundedness. Okay. So that's our base message. We're going to go ahead and shuffle out some Soul Truth cards. So, does my life have room for more pleasure and play? Yay! I feel like this is right on point with our conversation. Does my life have more room for pleasure and play? Yeah, I'm getting the message here. A lot of you are just hardcore and focused in on whatever this thing is. I'm getting the message that's probably something to do with making money. Incorporating more pleasure, more play, more enjoyable things. And I feel like that's also a part of that fire energy too, is that, passion doesn't necessarily have to be put towards career. You can also put it towards things that you enjoy. It's about pleasure as well. It's about desire. It's about things that you want, things that you desire. So focusing more on like those enjoyable things, as you're kind of tapping into that fire energy as well. All right, for some of you, you could be after a love situation is what I'm getting to. So if that message is hitting home for you, I'm feeling like when you come from a place of grounded energy, you're going to attract somebody who also is coming from a place of grounded energy. So like grounding yourself is actually going to produce a partner for you that is going to mesh and meld well with the life that you desire and that you're after and what you're looking for in a partner. So this person could or could not be our King of Wands, could represent them. They could be a fire sign in primary places of their chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. In our Leo, Sagittarius, or Aries. Doesn't necessarily have to be, but I feel like this person is going to be very mature. They're going to be high energy. They are going to be passionate about you and your relationship. And again, that very mature fire energy, like they're going to be very excitable and exciting, interesting to be around. They could very well be creative as well, but very driven. What am I looking for outside myself that is already within me? It's an interesting question. Let's see the back of it. Are you looking for more guidance, confidence, peace, wisdom, love, or something else? When we search outside ourselves, we can become overwhelmed, frustrated, and never feel quite good enough. It's time to go inward to find everything you seek. All the answers you need lie within you. It says breathe in your favorite essential oil, inhale deeply into your belly, drop your shoulders, and spend some time hanging out with your soul this week. Ask for what you need and be ready for the answers. What am I looking for outside myself that's already within me? Very interesting. I feel like that's right on point and par with our grounding today too. So like the focus for the week for you, group number 2, is to ground yourself, to find that space and place of grounding. You know, so, and I feel like that is within you, not focused on the world of the physical world, but focused on that inner world. What am I waiting for? Someone else to do it for me? Okay. So I feel like that card, kind of was a drop the mic moment. I feel like this card is kind of speaking to people that maybe have been like, okay, I'll do it. I'm going to read my Bible, or I'm going to meditate, or I'm going to pray, or I'm going to participate in a church service, or whatever that spiritual nourishment looks like in your life. And I feel like you've been, some of you have been saying, I'm going to do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And it just never happens. So I feel like this card is like, what are you waiting for? Like, no one else can do this for you. No one else can, spend time in spirit with your spirit and your soul except for you. So just kind of thinking of it more from a necessity. Like, you cannot not drink water for more than how many ever days, right? So the idea of spiritual nourishment, just like similar to our star energy, spiritual nourishment, you're pouring back into yourself and you're pouring out into the world, right? So making sure to keep one foot in your spiritual world and one foot, can be out. But this idea that one foot is always in the spiritual world, because that is where your source energy resides. Okay. So group number 2, these are the messages that I have channeled for you today. I certainly hope this was helpful for you and that this really sets the tone for your week, gives you something to kind of contemplate on and think through every day. Appreciate your time and your energy today, spending it with me. Please do click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already. Like my Facebook page, just connect with me there. As well as checking out my Etsy shop, where I curate content to help you on your spiritual and life journey. I just constantly adding new stuff. So I added some new Book of Shadows, template files and other things like that. So make sure to check out my Etsy shop. So thanks again for your time and energy, beautiful soul, and I will see you in another reading. Bye. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle for you. What is the guiding energy for group number 3 this week? Guiding energy for group number 3. Group number 3, guiding energy. Yeah, I'm being silly. Sorry. Okay, focus. Group number 3, guiding energy. I'm in a good mood today. Sun's out. Monkey. Perspective. Ooh, that's an interesting beginning to the conversation for sure. So it could incorporate this yoga pose this week, using this in your, as you contemplate and meditate on the message for today throughout the week. So when I think of perspective, to me, it could mean a couple of different things, but I feel like it's kind of pointing to either you're too narrow focused and you need a broader perspective, or you're too broad, you're too broad and you need a more refined perspective. But I feel like in general, perspective often means you need a broader perspective, that you're just too close to whatever it is that's going on in your life to actually see the forest for the trees, if that makes sense there for that. So let's get a little bit more information here from our tarot messages for group 3. Ooh, Hermit. Very interesting. So I'm feeling like the perspective you need is like your own. So for some of you, you might be having very strong influences from those around you. And I'm getting the message here that it's maybe throwing you off center. Like it's throwing you off, Knight of Swords, it's throwing you off your place of knowing. It's throwing you off balance. The Knight of Swords is telling me that for some of you, maybe words, maybe you had some sort of disagreement or with someone, and like there was an intense exchange of words. I'm getting the message that some of you are like introverts and you need to step away from situations to recharge. I'm feeling that discord. So for this particular situation, I feel like the perspective could be talking about, you have Page of Swords too. Yeah, communication is a huge conversation for you right now, group number 3. Communication, I'm getting like disgruntled. Like something happened when it comes to communication that was challenging, difficult, a fight, a disagreement. Maybe somebody said something the wrong way to you that rubbed you the wrong way, or maybe you said something. But this idea of just like conflict when it comes to communication is kind of coming up. Just this idea of words and thoughts in general are kind of fighting with each other. So I feel like the perspective here for you is to kind of step away, like get out of the fray, get out of the drama, get out of the moment, and look inside yourself and kind of and take an honest look at you and acknowledge where you could have done some things differently. Acknowledge where, your point was valid and maybe it was the delivery that was a problem, just like really kind of evaluating the situation, just kind of removing yourself and getting a clear perspective on what's going on, especially if this happened between you and someone that you want to continue to have a relationship with. I'm also getting the message for others of you that if there wasn't a argument per se, this idea of just there might be just a lot of kind of turmoil going on around you, and the message that I'm receiving for you is to create a sacred space. And I feel like with the Hermits and then Hawthorne came out in our Botanical talking about sacred. So I feel like, with that key word being sacred and this idea, we have the Hermit and kind of like intense word things happening and communication maybe being intense, like this idea of kind of stepping away, stepping back. I'm getting for some of you, if you've been like maybe advocating for either yourself or others, and things are getting a little heavy, a little intense. I feel like the message is like, take a moment, take a step back, get out of the fray, and gain some perspective. And also I feel like this idea of perspective in relationship to the Page of Swords, so I feel like our Page of Swords has that youthful energy. So our Page of Swords is less set in their ways. They're more open, they're more inquisitive, and just to kind of take on more of that energy moving forward, and just being open to other people's perspectives. And you know, even if you are, let's say, like fighting for a cause or something of the sort, that, I mean, you're sticking to your truth, but you're still you're approaching it from a more light, youthful sort of perspective, instead of like charging forward and pointing fingers and being really like aggressive. I'm getting the message here that, you know, people aren't listening to you when you're that way. You know, when you're being offensive and aggressive and you're just charging in there and spouting off at the face. That your words are powerful, but they're not mature. No, you're not, the delivery isn't coming from a mature place, is what I'm kind of getting. So taking a step back, you know, gaining a little bit more perspective, being open to other people's perspectives, because I'm getting the message here that for those of you who might be fighting the fight, right? You might be in some sort of heated debate or something like that. When you listen, not just hear, but you listen to the other side's quote unquote argument, then you are able to formulate a clear response. And when the delivery is calm, when you're tapping more into that King of Wands energy, you're coming from a place of balance and justice and truth. And again, that communication is solid. So you're coming from a place of, you know, grounded communication. You're listening, you're responding, you're calm, you're grounded, you're stable. The thoughts aren't wild and, you know, just like a tornado. It's calm, you know, it's a breeze on a sunny day, you know, that sort of deal. Then your message will be better received, and you will actually be more at peace, more grounded, you know. So I'm feeling like taking a moment away, getting out of the situation, grounding yourself, gaining some perspective inside of you, and also like calming yourself is what I'm getting. Like just this idea, calm just keeps kind of washing over me. If you're not in a place of spiritual groundedness, then I feel like that's kind of what our Melissa's talking about. So it is a crown chakra essential oil message from Melissa. Sounds like a person. It's fun. So purpose is the key word here. So I do feel like, you know, if you vibed with the advocate conversation, again, like this is a general reading, so there's many different messages here. But, you know, if the either having that intense conversation or advocating on behalf of others, then I feel like you have a purpose, a strong purpose, something that you are passionate about. I'm also getting the message here that sometimes when we are passionate about things, we're not always able to open ourselves up to seeing through the other person's point of view. And we also get really intense about it, and it throws us spiritually kind of off of our center. So that's why I feel like the Hermit is coming up, because it's saying time to kind of reel it in for a moment, take a break, you know, go inside for a moment. And I also feel like rediscovering that Page of Swords energy, that curiosity, that youthful, that buoyant, light sort of energy as well. I'm also getting a message here for some of you that the Page of Swords is representing a message that is coming to you, a spiritual message for you. Let's see if I can maybe get more energy, more specifics on this. Clarity, observer. I mean, this message to me is to be more of an observer and less of a verbalist, you know, less of the person who's verbally sparring and more of the person who's paying attention and observing and watching. Very interesting. That came out quick too. I wasn't expecting that to come out so quickly. This is also 4 energy, the number 4. And number 4 talks about being grounded. And I feel like that's the message here. Is to be grounded. And I feel like you find your groundedness in spirituality and going inside of yourself, finding that sacred place, coming to grips, coming to peace with yourself and who you are. And you know, this Melissa energy, this idea of having purpose is that, you know, you have a unique place in this world with gifts and talents that only you can provide. So use your connection with the divine to share those gifts and those talents. That is the point of it all. So, you know, it's very interesting. All right. We're also going to take a crystal card too. I feel like when you're in your hermit space as well, you're also going to, I feel like that's also kind of, it's switching up the perspective a little bit, right? So if you're in a really high octane energetic space, going inward, pulling away is actually going to give you, it's going to change your perspective, which will allow you then to like tap into other tap into other strengths of yours. And if observing is not a strength of yours, I'm feeling like that might be something that's necessary in order to receive the outcome that you're looking for. So we have Golden Healer Quartz. Open the door. Yeah. I feel like you're going to open doors that you didn't see before. Again, because you were so focused on, you know, having people hear you and, you know, being the loudest person in the room. I feel like when you kind of quiet yourself down vocally, but also like spiritually, and settle yourself, that you're going to see doors open, opportunities will open up to you. This is the message that I'm getting. Very interesting. All right, group 3. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle your soul truth cards. What takeaway messages for group number 3 for the week? Oh. To whom am I comparing myself right now? So is this why you're so, energy is so intense? Are you comparing yourself to someone else? What do they say? Comparison is the thief of happiness or something? So this is the back of the card. All that you need and want is within you. Stop comparing and start creating. I also think this card is interesting because it talks about, like, you know, when you see somebody that has a talent, for example, like someone sings or something, you're like, oh my gosh, your singing is so great. And you might sing a little bit yourself, you know, and you compare yourself like, oh, my singing isn't as good as theirs. What I think is really interesting about that card is it talks about, like, the beauty and the gifts and the talents that we see in other people. We actually see it in them because it also resides in us. So I thought that was, it just waits to be, like, nurtured. So I think that's kind of interesting too, is thinking about You know, are you comparing yourself to somebody who has a talent similar than yours? You know, and if so, how can you nurture your own talent? You know, how can you get it to the place where you're jealous of yourself? You know, you're comparing you to you. Who can I serve today? I feel like this is a good message for those of you who maybe need a moment away from some turmoil, some intense energy. Yeah, I feel like also like this idea of gratitude and humble, like just kind of like, yeah, just taking a step all the way back. You know, right or wrong, you know, whether you're right, whether you're wrong, just this idea of like getting out of it, you know, stepping away from it, gaining a new perspective. All right, and then our final card. Am I communicating my needs? So maybe you're advocating for others, but maybe not yourself. I also feel like communication is about not only what you're saying, but it's also about how they're receiving what you're saying to the other party. Communication is the two-way street, you know? All right, group number 3. So these are the messages that we've channeled for you today. You know, it's all about perspective, switching up your perspective in order to see the forest for the trees, in order to see, you know, the doors that you haven't been able to see before, and being able to open those doors by like retreating in a way, going inward instead of being the verbal aggressor. Be an observer, taking a more grounded approach, retreating into your sacred space, and really just calling forth your purpose, and like understanding that there is a higher calling, and to kind of tap into that and get in tune with that and figure out how to continue on that path as you move forward. But I'm feeling like for a lot of you, taking a step away, getting out of the situation that you're in now so that you can get a different perspective on life. And taking one of these 3 questions with you for the week. So let me know in the comments which of the questions that you're taking with you for the week. Let me know also if there's anything in the message today that really kind of struck home for you. Click like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're not already, as well as connecting with me on Facebook. That's like my primary connection point. And also check out my Etsy shop where I curate content there all the time to help you on your spiritual and life journey. So anything from personal readings to Book of Shadows and like journaling, grimoire, like template sheets, just all kinds of stuff is coming and is already present on my Etsy shop. So make sure to check it out. Thanks again, beautiful soul, for your time and energy today, and I will see you in an upcoming reading. Bye.